Hola.
Hola. Bonjour. Bonsoir.
Bonne nuit.
Bonne nuit.
No, that means good night.
That means good night. Okay, we're done. Let's go.
Here we go. We can't remember anymore. Pia, top of the show. Evening all. I'm here early because my laptop is crap.
I think
so. I need to make sure. How long ago? 20 minutes early. You pull things. It's like waiting for a show, isn't it? And you're waiting, and you go and buy your ice cream, and you have a drink, and you're like, "Come on!" And then the lights go down.
With popcorn on her lap, waiting for Gary and Lindsay to turn up.
Hello, Poppy. Good to see you,
Hi,
darling.
Poppy.
Morning, everyone from Australia. Good morning. God, you know, Vicky, you never miss. It's lovely to have you with us. Catherine Brown's here. Hello, Charlie Brown. Annie Hogan's here. Hello, Annie. Good to see you. Hi. Tracy Gray's here. Hello, Tracy. Nice to have met you earlier. That was lovely to meet you. Emma Daly. Hello, Emma. Good to see you. Good to see you. I think, Emma, is this your first live? Tell us if it's your first live.
I think I might have friended Emma on Facebook the other day.
Oh, you poor thing. Anne Blake is here. Hello all. Hello all. How's dear old Max? Jenny's here. Jenny Ackerstrom. I said that right. Ackerstrom. How does the A with a hole with a circle on the top? How do you say it? Ackerstrom. Good to have you. I don't think you've been here before. If you have, you've been lurking in the background because I've never seen you before because I would have tried to pronounce your name before. Dawn Lim's here. Good evening all from a sunny Wales. Yes, it's been good in the UK, I see. Julie Bradbury, hi from a sunny Scotland. Well, isn't it doing well? Jeanette Welsh is there. Is it hi from a sunny Spain, I wonder? But probably. Bonnie Doyle. Hello, Bonnie. Not seen you for a little while. Good afternoon from sunny Montana. It's nice to see you.
What you got for lunch?
What you got for lunch? And Angie Medler's here. Hello from hot and sunny Central Virginia. Good to see you. You had a very nice call with Asher this morning. That was lovely.
And I got to sit and watch. I had a lovely time. It was brilliant. It was brilliant.
Hello, Lynn. Hi from all in Maryland. Hi, all from Maryland. Hi, Lynn. Good to see you.
Hi, Lynn.
Bonnie says, getting my hay shed ready today for some nice mixed meadow hay that hopefully will be ready early next week. Ooh.
Very exciting.
That sounds fun. Hello, all from sunny Devon. My first live for a while. It's so good to see you. It's so good to see you. And I'm glad you're feeling good. And I'm glad you're out of hospital. Charlotte, our lovely, lovely admin, has been in hospital. Dr. Scott herself has been in hospital. And she's been a bit poorly, but she's better now. And she's home. And she's back up and running again. Lovely to see you, my darling. Heidi's here. Hello, hello, Heidi. Good to see you. Gawsworth's here. Hello, Bethan. Hello, Bethan.
Hi, Bethan.
We're going to be talking about some famous X-rays tonight. Karen Mackison's here. Cheers. Cheers.
I haven't got wine. I've got coffee.
It's not wine. It's Ribena. Mild. No, diluted. What am I talking about, mild? Gawsworth. Is the stream live? I can't see anything. No, which means you've probably buggered off by now because that was at least 6 minutes ago. Good evening from a sunny Portugal. It's sunny all over the world. Well, all over Europe, it seems. Lovely. Just says stream starting soon. That's because it hasn't started because I was still setting up, but we're here now. Excited to hear about Wex-rays. Wex-rays. I didn't coin that. I actually have to say Bethan coined that, but we're going to look at Wex-rays later. Good evening, everyone, says Uta. Lovely to see you. Charlotte says Lindsay and Gary aren't there yet. Bethan, oh no, she's just telling you. Hi, everyone, from Jackie. Teresa says good evening. Ooh, is this also a new person this evening? Hello, Teresa.
Hi, Teresa.
Go on, Gary. Go on. It's your turn. You've got to pronounce Teresa's surname now.
Oh. Cucurulo. Cucurulo.
Cucurulo. Sounds like
Cucurulo. I had to say it 10 times in my head first.
Cucurulo. Is that right?
It rolls off the tongue, actually. It's quite nice, isn't it?
Cucurulo. Yeah.
It's a nice surname. If I pronounced it right.
Yeah, that's brilliant. What's the song? Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree, merry, merry king of the bushes he. Laugh, Kookaburra, laugh, Kookaburra. Something your life shall be. I don't know why I forgot that last line. That's what it reminds me of. Kookarullo. Kookarulla sits in the old gum tree, merry, merry king of the bush, queen of the bushes she. Laugh, Kookarullo, laugh, Kookarullo. Gay your life must be. That's the last line.
Can we move on?
Do you not know that, Gary? What sort of childhood did you have? I mean, come on.
Not heard that one at all.
How many other people had that in their childhood? I did. My kids did. Jenny's here, morning from down under, shortest day today. Whoop, whoop. Ah, yes, yes. Longest for us here in the UK, Jenny.
It was probably the longest for us, yeah.
It's the longest day for us. Isn't that weird? Jeanette's here. Bonsoir. Hi from Northern France, where it's the longest day for us too. Hi from a sunny, warm Wales. It's the equinox, isn't it, therefore? Been taking more hoof photos from Lisa. Ooh, for Lisa. Excellent. You've got your meeting coming up with Lisa. I don't think you've had it yet, have you? Because I'm going to be sitting in on that one, I think. Vanya is here. Hi, everyone, from a very wet southern France. Has it been stormy with you? Because it has been massively stormy with us. It's come straight up from Bordeaux off the Bay of Biscay, straight up through Bordeaux, straight up across us, always hits us. Erin's here. Good evening from a toasty hot Ohio. 96 degrees today. I think that's 35.5 degrees.
That's a bit warm.
Those who use that scale, we do. In fact, the whole of Europe use centigrade. So well done. At least according to Google. It's true, right? Fahrenheit, forget it. Yeah, like we've got to have some of the most complicated systems in the world. Should we talk about metric? Should we talk about metric and imperial? Because
Lindsay cannot work in imperial at all.
No, I can't. I can't work in imperial. Yet.
And she's older than me. Only a little bit.
Yes. Only a little bit. Yeah, I'm not very good at kilometres. I know miles. I'm better at miles than I am at kilometres. But I can't do inches. I can do centimetres and metres. We are a screwed up, mucked up world, everybody. Choose a side. Choose a side. I believe in the aviation industry, they all use inches, I believe, still. They haven't gone metric, I think. I think that's the case. Well, that certainly was the case not that long ago. It is a mucked up, screwed up world. Here we are in the UK. We use miles on our road. We won't use anything other than miles. Yet we used to use gallons. Now we use litres. And we use meters. But we also use yards. And we use pounds and ounces instead of kilograms. And in America, they use kilograms. And yet they do miles and inches. I mean, come on. Stop it now. Screwed up, messed up world. Angela says, saw your live about Wex, Bethan. Loved it. Thank you for helping him. Yes, thank you. We are going to be looking
I haven't seen the live one from Gawsworth yet. I'll have to go
and watch it. Yeah, she's got Wexy sat with her. Well, not sat, stood. She's sat, yeah. Morning, everyone. Getting photos organised of my donkey. So making some progress. That's awesome. Well done. Sandra Rounder from Czech. Hello, one of our HMB Pro students, final year students from Czech. Hello, just watched the video about Wex's X-rays. Brilliant, Bethan. Awesome. Therese says, hello from Sweden. We also have the longest day today, but I can't see any difference from last month because in the summer we have daylight. Really? Are you that high up in Sweden that you get daylight 24/7? Freaky. Does that mean in the winter you get darkness 24/7? Are you that far up in Sweden? Oh, that's scary. Carol Colbert's here. Morning. Sarah Lou says, hi, everyone. Frozen cleaning out the water tank. Algae is a nightmare. Any tips? Yes, but don't do it. Fish. But some people do, some people don't. I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it. Jill Kovacs here. Jill, hi Jill, good to see you. Is this your first live, Jill? Great to see you. I love all your posts, by the way. Sometimes I get a little bit confused because you're a bit clever than us, because I think you and a couple of others worked out that you can start albums. Who knew, right? That is even better. And I think we need to have a discussion with the group about that. Look, if you've got a horse that you're going to start rehabbing and you're going to start doing it the Phoenix way, which is Mother Nature's way, right? You can start an album, and then you can add to your album, and then just come along and go, hey, I've added more photos to the album. Everybody go look. But we're so not in that mode yet. We're still in the mode of please feed us posts. It just needs to see a post, that we've not gone. So thank you for that. I didn't know. Laura's here, one of our HMB pros in Essex. Hi, everyone, says Laura. Good to see you, Laura, my lovely. Erin says we have big fans running for all the animals. I can just see these people, big loads of fans running across chasing animals. That's not what you mean, is it? It's not what you mean. Minnie has her head about 6 inches. See, inches. Yeah. You ask an American how they weigh themselves. Kilograms. From it, 6 inches from it. Minnie has her head about 6 inches from it and won't leave for any reason. I work indoors and just stay there till the sun goes down. Humidity is brutal. Oh, bet it is. I'll bet it's brutal. And stupidly, because we're mental morons, we are coming to America at the end of July next year. Whose decision was that, Gary? Why did we make that decision? I mean,
did we not do our homework?
It's going to be warm, right? Jenny's here. Jenny Cox, good morning from Australia. Missed a few lives, shortest day, cold and raining. Longest day here. It's great that you're all saying this. I love it. I find out so much stuff by just listening to you guys. Alicia's here. Alicia Howard. Hello, everyone. So glad to catch the live. Been busy preparing for a move. Ooh, where are you going?
Is that a move for you or for your horses or both?
Ooh.
Interesting. Exciting.
Is that our Alicia? Is that one of our Alicias?
No.
So
it means we've got a third Alicia. We can adopt her.
Hello, you're our third Alicia. We're adopting you, Alicia. Lee Masters is here. Hello, Lee. Great time to join. Yes, it is. Lee's one of our HMB Pro in Norfolk, and he is going to be hosting our Norfolk workshop. Well, him or up the road, but we're going there, going to go see his track. Meta's here. Hi, finally we hit 20 degrees Celsius after cold there. 3 weeks with only 12 to 13 degrees. Yeah, it's been cold and rainy June this year, so I'm happy that I get my haylage in today. Wow, brilliant. We are starting to warm up as well. See, you just weren't in the brownies. You weren't in the brownies.
So I'm quite glad about that.
Are you really? Are you? It was great fun in the brownies, honestly.
I was in the Cubs though.
Are you in the Cubs?
I was in the Cubs.
The Cubs equivalent to girlies is well, Cubs, brownies, rainbows, brownies, guides now. Longest day for us in Scotland then, and still feels like winter. Still got my thermals on. Crazy. That is crazy. Bev's here. Hello.
Hi, Bev.
Have you just been lurking in the background on lives, or you've just decided that you're just going to pop up? Bev is one of our admins with Vanya and Charlotte. And Vanya's also an HMB Pro, but Bev is finally here. Hello, my lovely. Good to see you. Monica's here. Hello from Czech. Hello, Monica.
Hi, Monica.
Jenny, fantastic rehab, Bethan, with Wex sharing the faith, eh? Yeah. Leah says, my brain does not do metric. Where do you live? Tell me where you live. Because if you say that and you live in the States and you do kilograms, I cannot do that. If somebody says, how heavy are you? And they go 70 kilos, I'm like, what's that in stones and pounds? Because we do pounds and ounces. You go to a shop, to a butcher's shop in the UK, and you ask for actually you do ask for a kilo now, but it used to be so many pounds of this, and the butchers will still know. But you go and weigh yourself at a slimming club, they won't do it in kilos. They'll do it in stones and pounds.
70 kilos is about 11 stone.
I can't do it that way around. I just don't. It's stones. I'm an imperial girl living in an imperial world.
Oh, we got another song coming up. Who was it? Madonna, wasn't it?
Madonna, yeah. Material girl.
Material girl.
Joker, yeah. Good morning, Joe. Good to see you. Charlotte says I did my elective in India in March. Oh, in March to June during their heat wave. It was up to 50 C in the electricity and water for 2 hours a day. Oh, that's living. That's living on the harsh side. I've been in 45 and I wanted to die. And we've nearly got to that in France, haven't we, Gary? But 45 was in Madrid on my motorbike. I honestly thought I was going to die. Alicia Howard will be living with my horses. Excellent. In the barn or next door to the horses, in a caravan or a house or what? Explain. Bev says lurking. Yes, lurker.
Bless you, Bev.
Susie says, I do kilometres for riding. Yeah, right, because you do endurance and fell walking. But mountain heights in feet. No. Weight in kilograms. You do weight in kilograms, do you? Oh, God. Am I just that far behind the times? It's bizarre. We use pounds in the US.
It is pounds for weight.
No, they don't. They use kilos. I'm sure they do. Oh, unless...
You look at you listen to all the American dramas. And when
no, that's right.
They always do, right? This guy was 120 pounds and blah, blah, blah.
No.
Are we going to have a hand model? We're going to have a hand model topping up the wine.
God.
Oh, he's run off with a bottle of wine. He's taking the dog out. No, you're right. I'm wrong. I reverse all that. Blah, blah, blah. It's pounds in the US. And we are stones and pounds. That's the difference. Yes. Because you go like 106. That's right. In France, it's kilos. They do weight in kilos. In the UK, we do stones and pounds.
Stone and pounds. Because
we need to break it up clearly, because that makes it easier for us. We can only count up to 14 pounds, and then off we go into a stone. So in the US, you do pounds. So as in 162, I'd have to sit there with my calculator working out how many times 14 goes into it. Anyway, whatever. Sorry. Bonnie, in the medical world here, we use both. I kind of had to use both at school when I was teaching, but I rebelled and I would only use metric. Catherine, no metrics for me. See, it's a funny old world, isn't it? It's a funny old world. I gotta say, it's funny. I do my weight in kilos, but height in feet. Yes, feet. But we don't do it in feet anymore, do we? We do it in meters.
What, height?
We do, yeah.
We can do it in both.
We do it in both.
It's about 50-50 in the UK, I reckon.
Now, what
in France, it's definitely metric.
Meters. And what do we do for horses?
Oh, it's hands.
Because a standard hand was meant to measure 4
how many inches to a hand?
4. It's meant to be 4 inches. No, yes, 4 inches. So when you go 14.2, it's 14 times 4 inches plus 2 inches. 14.3. That's why we don't have 14.4, because the fourth one goes up to the next. Is that correct? That is correct, isn't it? I am correct. Leah says South Canterbury in New Zealand. That's where you are.
Hi,
and
Leah.
What did you say? You were doing Do you not watch my £600 live? What's £600? Oh my God. Right, hold on a minute. 600 divided by 14 equals 42 stone? Nearly 43 stone? Tell me that's not a... Really? Oh my God. We've nearly done half an hour just chatting about. That's it. I use grams for... Yes. Yes. Grams for baking. And yet, and in America they use cups, don't they, for baking?
Yeah.
And
we use cups.
We do, but then we have measuring spoons
we have
that do it in mils and cups.
Yes.
Leave Hullet, North Canterbury. Joe Kirk. What was that? Oh, Lee Hullet. Oh yes, Lee Hullet, Canterbury. Joe Canterbury, North Canterbury. I can do kilos and meters, but can't get my head around measuring horses in meters. Still have to use hands. Indeed, I can't get my head around meters at all. It's hands. Everybody uses hands. FEI minimum rider weights are in kilos, which is why you use it. Right, but we still do it in hands. We still measure horses in hands. Although I think we do horses. Yeah, I think we do horse weight in kilos. Laura would know that, because she gets a weigh bridge. Bev says, I weigh myself in stones and pounds, but weigh my horse in kilos. Yeah. There you go. See? UK, all stones and pounds. There's a program that documents people in America who are massively overweight and they go for bariatric surgery. It's called my 600 pounds. So voyeuristic. No, but it makes you want to look, doesn't it? It's awful, really. Shall we add furlongs and nautical miles? Shall we? I mean, hello.
No, you've lost me now. I couldn't tell you how long a furlong was. But if I was to ask my mother, she could just go right from the beginning all the way to the end, and she'd be able to do the lot.
She would. She'd know exactly how long a furlong was.
Because when she was at school, 74 years ago, well, when she was born, they had to memorise it. So she did.
What about yards?
Yeah, yards. She'd know all of that. How many inches in a yard? How many feet in a yard? How many yards in a furlong? And how many yards in a mile? And all of that stuff.
Julie, is Sir David watching us? Because I wonder what it's like in the engineering industry. What do they do? Have they moved over yet? Are they doing both? Is it inches? What are they doing? I want to know. Tell them.
I would imagine it's both, depending on the age of what you're working on, because new stuff that we were putting in, you'd end up having all the metric, but there was still old stuff that was kept working, which would all be imperial.
So they'll keep them imperial.
You'd have both.
Lee says, don't forget the most important measurement used across the world is pint, glass, large glass and shot. It's true. And even in France, right now, it didn't used to be the case, but it does now. They will say a pint. I can never even do it. Pint. They'll say pint in French. They will. So funny. In Denmark, weight is in kilos. For height and length, we use the metric system. He's watching. Ask him. I want to know. Gawsworth says, let's talk degrees on hoof X-rays. Okay, let's do it. Bev, 8 furlongs in a mile. I'm 2. Oh, no. See? You're not that old. Right. Shall we do it? Tonight, I thought we'd because we've nearly done half the live already. So for the rest of the live, we're going to talk about something that is incredibly important and for us is very exciting because rarely do we get the opportunity, and I have to say we were kind of pressed into it. Oh, not we, Bethan, for various reasons. But the owner and Bethan decided that now was the time to get X-rays on Wex. It's always very nerve-wracking when you decide with a rehab the way that we do these rehabs, which you know that nobody else in the world does, pretty much, that you're going to get a vet out who's going to come and X-ray, see the long toes, and not want to have to say something. Apparently, he was lovely. He was really great, and I think Bethan preempted what was going to happen. Yeah, just let you know, there are toes involved. Okay. But at the end of the day, from what Bethan said, and I'm sure she'll fill us in tonight on the live, that he asked loads of questions, because when he saw these X-rays, which I'm going to show you, and I know so many of you have already seen them, but we're going to chat about them anyway. Because I've done a video, go and have a look at the video. It's on the HM page. It's on Gawsworth page. It's in the Phoenix group. You can't miss it. Click on the link. Go to YouTube. But do me a favour. If you're going to go to YouTube and watch that free education, could you please just subscribe? Please. What do they do? Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and then you'll be notified when new videos pop up. Right, that's that done. So, X-rays are done. Very exciting. Bethan sent them to me quite quickly because she photographed the screen and away. So we've got the photographs of the screen, but she's really good and she kept it straight on and everything. And as far as I can tell, the vet was really surprised because he looked at the feet. He doesn't understand this kind of rehab, as most of them don't. Again, like we said, it's not their fault, it's the way they're taught. And when he saw what was inside, he was like, what? How, I don't get that, because we're told that long toes tear lamina, and yet this is clearly not like that. So should we go and have a look? Right, I've got to go and hang on a minute. If I can't log into my Canva, you're all done, because it might be a problem. Gary, you do some chatting. Do the
I have no idea what to talk about. You've just dumped that on me.
I have, but I can't log into my Canva.
Have I got access to your whiteboard?
You might have, but I also haven't got my phone up here. I'm so sorry.
Uh-oh. It's all falling apart.
I'll try my best. Hold on.
Dawn Lim is having to go to bed. Night, Dawn.
Night,
have a good break and catch up tomorrow. Hi, Shannon. Good to see you.
Oh, God.
Oh, Gawsworth saying the vet was fantastic, to be fair. And that's what we want more of, isn't it? Oh, my God. We have to give credit where credit is due. For sure.
For sure. I mean, brilliant. Absolutely awesome. Going to places. I can't log into my Canva. This is live, folks. Live.
Should I see if I can get into your Canva? And which whiteboard would it be on?
One that's, funnily enough, called Wexford.
Okay.
Oh, I might have found. Hang on. I think I found my. Hold on.
No pressure. No pressure.
Talk amongst yourself. Talk amongst yourself, please. Talk amongst yourself. Come on. You can do it. Come on, Mac Mail. Download it. Oh, come on. It's asking for a code, peeps. I can't go anywhere until I get the code. It's not having it. Anyway, I tell you what, let Bethan. Would you like to come on screen?
Well, that's a good idea. Bethan, are you decent?
Are you decent?
I'm just looking at my hair. I look so I've been dragged through it backwards tonight.
Would you like to come on screen with us and chat to us about your experience? I'm sure people would love it. Hang on, let me send you the link. You're not going to be able to not do. You know that, don't you? Now I've asked you.
Well, it depends whether she's in bed or not.
Doesn't matter. She won't care. Come on then. I've sent you the link. Because I don't think I'm going to be able to log into Canvas, so you're all going to have to tune in tomorrow night. So
this could be the preamble to the evidence.
This can be the preamble. We'll chat away with actually, I probably will be able to show some things because I've sent them through on your. Oh God! Why don't you come on, you darn thing? Don't you just hate it when this happens? Oh, I've got the code. She in yet, Gary? She on her way?
No, not yet.
She's putting a load of makeup on.
She said yeah, so she's on her way.
Great. Okay. Brilliant. Yes, I'm in. Okay. Good. Good. It's loading now. This is live. This is live TV, folks. She's not here yet. She's coming. She's coming. She says she's in.
Why can't I see her then?
Ooh. Why have you not arrived?
Oh, here she comes.
I had to download the app and everything. It was there was just this icon of a duck.
Yeah, that's StreamYard.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello, darling. You all right?
Yeah.
Here she is.
I've had 2 glasses of Prosecco, so I won't be held responsible for anything I do or don't say.
I'm going to put you up there. There you are.
Just keep it clean, lovely. Keep it clean.
I'm going to keep my top on and everything. I'm going to be dead good.
Excellent. Cheers, darling. Cheers.
So right. Can you not get the?
I can.
Right.
I can. But before we look at them, I've just found them. Before we look at them, tell me how you felt before the vet turned up yesterday. Before the vet turned up.
I was nervous. I was so. It's hard because I knew deep down what was going on in that hoof. I did know, but to have somebody from the outside come in and me open the doors to this kind of thing, and someone who potentially could shut us down, could pull the plug on the whole thing, that is absolutely terrifying. I was really, really frightened. And so when on my live today, when I was talking, you know, I totally get where the fear comes from and the anxiety. So because I felt it, and I knew, I've seen this time and time again, admittedly not as bad as Wex, but still, you know, I've seen it because I don't want to say all laminitis the same because some can go one way or the other, but the majority of them, no matter the severity, kind of follow the same path.
They do.
Unless something's gone really wild, some array somewhere.
Unless we've had a massive amount of wall removed or they've got some osteonecrosis, then other than that, they're
most of them follow the same path, because even if there's no breakdown of the sole and penetration of the sole, it's still the same kind of healing process, which I've seen, you know, several times before. So even for me that's seen that, it was still very worrying. Yeah. And that's why I had you were supposed to be on video chat, but my signal was just not having any of it because of the barn. I got my trimmer, Jan, there, and Jan was just like, it'll be fine, Bethan. Don't worry. Everything's fine. Wex's owner was there, and like I'm trying to hold it all together, and I'm like, yeah, everything's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And Jan said, of course it'll be. course it'll be fine. And I'm like, and Dan keeps coming up to me going, babe, it's fine, don't worry, you're all right. I'm like, I'm fine. I was a nervous wreck. But yeah, it all worked out for the best.
She is a true warrior. You're right. She is a true warrior. And then, so you got on your apron. Come on, go through it. And he then started. And did you walk him up to him? Did he see him walking up?
So I'd had him. So Jan had come because we wanted to check that his heels were as to the hard sole plane as possible. So Jan was coming anyway. So we teamed the vet visit up with Jan's visit because Jan comes every week. So Jan came about half an hour before. We checked his feet. We gave them a little bit of a rasp, the heels. There really wasn't much. Excuse me, the Prosecco's just repeated. There really wasn't much to take off. A dusting. There's nothing to get nippers involved. Just a bit of a dusting. And then he was in one of the pens, and his owner come up, and his owner was grooming him. And then I was talking to you, and we're like, oh, because the vet was actually late. So I'd actually kept him in because I thought, well, the vet's going to be here any minute. The vet then messaged us and said he was running about an hour behind. And then you were messaging me and like, Bethan, just let him out. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to let him out. So poor owner was having a lovely time grooming him because he's turned a lovely shade of orange because of all the lovely new sand we've put down. I was like, sorry, put your brushes away. Come on. And he that horse wanted out. He wanted out. Admittedly, he just milled around the barn, which is really, really, really good. So the vet turned up, and although, so in my post, I've put the vet's never been involved in, never seen a rehab like this. That's not to say he's never been. We've had the same vet practice since the beginning, and they know what we do and how we do, but I've never had to get them involved apart from, so this is the same vet from the same practice who x-rayed Dolly 2 for us, and some people may remember that from a few years ago.
Yeah.
And so when I spoke to him about doing these x-rays, and I explained to him, there's going to be a toe involved, and I know it's going to be against everything you've kind of been taught and trained, and he said, yeah, I get that, Bethan. And his words were, I'm open to things, and you are very good at what you do. And I was like, oh my God. I think I was just like,
Can I marry you?
I was like, right, okay. And so he came.
So marvellous to have recognition. It really is.
It really was. It was good. And, so Wex was just milling around the barn. Vet turned up. I was all very nonchalant about it. Like, oh, yeah.
Heart's going like this.
I'm like a swan. I'm gliding across the top, like paddling. I was like, and in the feed room, there was a gift like some gift kind of box of a famous grouse with like a mug, like a cup, and this miniature bottle of whiskey.
You didn't have a swig, did you?
No, because whiskey smells really strong, and I thought it's just
But you were contemplating.
I really was. I was so stressed, but I needn't have been. So he come in, he was like, oh, can you put him on a head collar and walk him round? I said, yeah, no problem, and walked him round the barn. And he said, can I see him walking without his boots on? And I said, yes, you can, but we need to remember that his boots are the equivalent to a laminitic bean in shoes.
Yeah.
And I said to him, would you still want to see a laminitic horse walking without metal shoes on? Would you still ask the same of it? And he said, yes, I would. I said, okay, that's fine. I said, but I'm not willing to turn him any tight circles, or I wouldn't do that to him. And he says, that's fine. So I took his boots off, and we walked him in a straight line to the point where we were going to have the x-ray. And he walked, and the vet commented, he said, wow, he said that there's such a difference that the boots make. And I said to him, I was like, It almost makes you wonder why we bothered nailing metal to hooves, isn't it? Had a bit of a giggle about it, and I could. It was a bit of a tongue-in-cheek kind of.
Yeah, he
remark.
sounds like he was kind of up for it a little bit, though.
But yeah, he had a bit of a laugh with me.
That's good.
So then, you know, he says we are going to have to put him on blocks. I said, yeah, I understand that. So we did left 4 first, which is his worst one, his most sore foot. Took a couple of goes, excuse me, and yeah, so we did lateral, and then we did DP.
Did you do DP? Yeah, of course you did, because you looked at medial lateral. Yeah.
Yes. And that was fine. And then we put the boot back on the left 4 and also put a pad. I think we did put a pad underneath it, like a gardening. So there's a tip for you guys. If you've got a really sore horse, we use the like little pads that you'd put under your knees when you're gardening.
Kneeling pads.
Kneeling pads, that's right. Sometimes we use 2 or 3 of them because they can squash down really quite compact. And then we did front right. And
he was hanging off the back of the front right.
I know, and I wish that I'd managed to get my. So since with the barn built, the signal is terrible in the barn. It just blocks everything. I really wish you'd have been able to be on a video call, then you could have like maybe have picked up on that, because he was hanging off the back of the block a little bit, and he wasn't loading. Because as he took the X-ray, I just saw him. He didn't pick the foot up, but I saw him lift his weight out of the hoof. Yeah. And I did think to myself, but it was just.
Sometimes what you can do, and you see the trouble is, you know, it's you have to weigh it up, but sometimes what you can do is, and it depends on how close they want you to get, really, but you can lift up the opposite leg, of course, and that loads them. But that probably wouldn't have been the right thing to do for Wex.
Not for Wex. There's no way he would have balanced on 1 foot on a block on that left foot. It just wouldn't have been.
No, getting him up on the block with 2 feet was enough.
Yeah, it was a big job for him.
Yeah.
And to be fair, even without the foot fully loading, it's still a very favourable.
That was great.
It's a very favourable X-ray. And so the vet, he was just like, he had a vet student with him who didn't say much, but it was nice that she was there. And he was like, wow. He said, that new angle coming in, he says, that's amazing. He's like, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. And I was saying to him, I was like, you know, look how smooth that new growth coming in is, because a lot of the time we see laminitic horses like trying the best to grow in a new healing angle, but it just keeps rippling. But that new angle, that new hoof growth, there's only that much. But it's smooth. Yeah. And it's healthy and it's tight and it's connected. Yeah. And he was like, so he was saying, so, you know, he's like, I would want to chop that toe off. I said, I know you would. Wow. And he says, and he was talking to Jan, he said, will that just grow down at that angle? And me and Jan were explaining, yes, it will. I said, but it may take a couple of cycles to be really, you know, optimum tightness. And he says, does it break off? I was like, no, not really. And Jan was explaining, this isn't just a case of having a laminitic horse and not trimming them. And
neglecting the foot. Like so many people think that's what we do, right? And it's so many people think we just neglect. We're the long-toed people. They just neglect toes. They don't. And we're like,
no, not at all. With these laminitics, we would rather do a more often trim every 4 weeks and do a tiny bit than every 6, 7, 8 weeks. We, you know, when Wex first came to us, we were doing trims with him lay down. We were doing really unorthodox methods, as you know, Lindsay. I've sent you videos of the thing, you know, the positions and the ways we've had to manage such a horse in such discomfort to be able to lift each foot, to get underneath that foot. It's not easy. And even now, you know, he can lift each foot, but it's not for an extended period of time. It's you know, it's a slow process, because obviously we want to keep the whole experience positive
But I
for
think
him.
it's important to say at this point, and people are listening to this, that he's not suffering.
No, not this.
So people might go, "Oh, you can't pick his feet up." No.
No.
Don't believe he's suffering.
No, he's not. He's this horse is always trying for us, and he wants to live, and he's got such a happy mood about him. Anyone that's been around horses and who's ever unfortunately had the decision to put a horse to sleep knows when it is time.
It's time.
When a horse has had enough. And you know what? There's been times when Wex he's been in a bad way, but he's always shown us that he wants to carry on. I am not. So people come to us to bring horses to livery, and they're like, "Oh, but what if he do have enough?" And I say, I am not in the business in flogging dead horses.
No.
I am not
No.
going to keep a horse going for livery money. I do not want to see a horse walking around or suffering any more than anyone else wants to. So if there's ever a point where I think it's enough, or the owner thinks it's enough, or there's nothing we can do, then we're the first to say,
Yeah.
the quality of life is always number one and the priority for us. So the X-ray, he was really blown away by it. He was I was explaining to him about what would happen chopping the toe. It would put the weight into a place that wouldn't be favourable. It wouldn't benefit the horse. And he was really open and receptive to things. So I put this on my page yesterday, and a lady, I think she's a newly qualified vet. She kind of came on giving me a bit of grief, saying, "Oh, I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are. Are you trying to say you're educating vets? And we've done 100+ hours of exams or 100+ exams." And I was like, "No, I'm just documenting of what happened." And this vet, he's not young, but he's not old. I'd say he's, I don't know, 45, maybe 50. He's been a vet he's a senior vet within the practice. And he was so open to what I was saying. And he wanted to listen, he wanted to learn, and he understood what we were going on about. But the thing for him was, he said that it's not just a hoof trimming thing that we're doing here. He says there's so much more going on with the diet and the management. I said, yeah, absolutely. So that was the kind of thing he was kind of hung up on, because he said, it's so hard for us to be able to get people to replicate what you do.
And I think that it's yes, you're right. But what they don't see and they don't notice, which is what we're doing and what we're advocating for, is understanding that when we have rotation, we can fix that. They may be in a crap environment. They may not have the greatest diet and management, but we can fix it if they've got terribly high heels. That needs to be the way that we look at hooves and the way that we look at laminitis and rotation has to change.
Well,
Yeah,
I did mention about the high heels and the belief about the DDFT pulling the, and he looked at me like I'd gone out, and he was like, I don't believe in that, Bethan. I don't think that. So that was quite, but it's tricky. And he what may deem high heels to us wouldn't be high heels,
right. To them,
I don't know. I didn't. You got.
But it's a start. Right? And he was positive, and he loved it. He thought your care plan was great.
He says, I said, are you happy with everything? He says, I can see the horse has a good quality of life. You've got a clear care plan in place. And he says, you're really good at what you do, Bethan. He says, this facility is really good. He said, I go to some places where they say I've got a track system. And his words were, he says, these track systems are just funny shaped fields. He says, they're not grass free. They're just elongated fields. And I said, well, that isn't really a true track system. Won't be optimum for laminitic rehab. And then there was the talk about, he said, I still would never let a horse move in the acute stages. And both me and Jan said, a horse that is in that much pain wouldn't want to move anyway.
No.
And the risk that you're running with giving them, I can never say this word, analgesics. That I can never say it. Painkillers. Yeah, I'll say painkillers. The risk that you're running when you're allowing a horse free choice movement and giving them painkillers, that then the potential for them to do too much and do irreparable damage.
But we're saying they don't want to move because they're bloody sore. What they're saying is they don't want them to move because they're frightened P3 is going to move. That's the difference. So they think P3 is about to go straight through the capsule and breathe the soul, whereas we're going, no, it's not what happens. It's not what happens. I know that's why you think that, because when you come along and X-ray it and it's like this, I get it. But what we're saying is that's the trim, right? Yes, laminitis is causing that inflammation, but we can do better with the trim. But yeah, it's getting them together. I mean, you've got some vets like him saying don't believe in the whole DDFT thing, and yet you've got other vets going, well, we need to cut the DDFT to allow P3 to go back
so
where
tricky.
it needs
You know,
to be.
that exact vet is the same vet that will say to me, Bethan, you know, you've got a horse with an abscess. He's like, I don't believe in prescribing, you know, pain relief for abscesses because you need the inflammation there to burst the abscess. But then you'll get another vet who says it's cruel not to prescribe and not to do, you know, it's so tricky. And that's why I have stuck with my same vets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
they get to know who you are.
And the way we do, so if we ever have an abscess or anything like that, my vets come out and they would, you know, I've wrestled knives out of my vet's hands in the early days. And they've literally turned around and said to me, you're mad. You're a mad woman. But we now have a mutual respect and they see how things go and they're okay with me. So like I said on my own live earlier today, it must be so hard out there.
Oh yeah.
For Joe Public, who's either on their own land or even worse on a traditional livery yard, with everyone around them saying no. So this group is so vitally important as, you know, a support group to keep
change
showing
the world.
It's so important, and that's why we must never ever be silenced and give in to any haters, because this group is so important to keep the support there for the people that are on their own, because it's hard for me. And I've got a bit of a sway because I've kind of got like, well, I've got a bit of a backstory. I've got a few case studies under my belt. And I can say, you know, well, we're doing all right. And then, you know, you've got Sandra down the road with Toffee, who's on her own or on a yard, 20 other horses, all shod, all fed Bailey's top line conditioning cubes.
We hear it all the time. We hear it all the time, don't we? People coming into the Phoenix group. Only the other day, Aston's not with us tonight, but Aston in South Africa is being bullied off her yard, you know, and she's had to go and get out and find somewhere, and she's not been sleeping, and she's been feeling sick, and the stress and distress that she's been feeling.
It's awful, but that's why these lives, these videos, and you know, I got the X-rays, and I was so torn about sharing them because there's going to be backlash about it, regardless. Naysayers are going to come up about it. But I thought, you know what? I have not nursed this horse through all this, and this horse has battled since being here to keep it a secret. I'm not, you know, the world needs to see, and we need to, well, myself, and you've already got big girl knickers, Lindsay, and big boy boxers, Gary. You know, I put my big girl knickers on and just be like, you know, I'll take it. I'll take it on the chin, because I know that I'm doing the right thing, and the horses here show us every day.
Should we have a look at them then?
Yes. Do you not need me now, do you? You can.
No, you can stay.
Oh, okay. I'll shut up.
No, we can all stay. We can talk about it. Hold on. Let's bring them up. Let's bring Wex's whiteboard up. Here we go. So just as a reminder, can you all see this?
Yeah.
So just as a reminder, when Wex turned up, I'm sorry about all my lines all over it, but that was Wex's foot. That was Wex's foot. And this is how far this distance here basically is how far his foot went down when we just took the shoes off. I don't know if I've ever shown you these, Bethan. And that was
me, yeah.
That was the foot there when the shoes came off, and in a minute you'll see what state P3 was in, and then we went from here. If you see the angles that we've got the lines, okay, these Bethan does an amazing job at actually trying to get very accurate images. Pretty yeah, but you do try and keep it at the same spot, so it's really, really good. And then this was the emergency trim, but look at the difference. Look at the difference in the angles and the height of the heel. Look where it changed already at trim 1 when he had the shoes off. It looks like two totally different feet. Yet it isn't. It's the same foot.
Oh, that's within like an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Mm.
Yeah, right. Okay, so let's go and have a look at these x-rays. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so I've got marks on these x-rays, so I'll leave them there for a minute and we can talk about these. So tell me if you can. I'm just trying to get them on my screen properly. All right, everybody see that? So this is something I've not shown. I've not shown these things that I'm going to show you this evening on YouTube. So if you want to go and see me talking about the x-rays, you can see it on my YouTube channel. But these are things that I've looked at and I've marked up since. But the things that I talk about briefly on the YouTube channel is this gas line here. When some vets see this gas line, this is showing you that you've got separation between the dermal and the epidermal laminae, where they're being stretched.
Lindsay, can you just be a bit clear about what line you're talking? Not the red line, the line going down the hoof wall, just because your pointer's really tiny. Yeah,
oh,
there.
God! Hang on a minute. It's not you. It's not you. Right, Gary, where do I go? Accessibility. Accessibility, display.
Accessibility, display, and pointer
color.
down the bottom.
We're going to go for green, pink, and I'm going to make him big.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big pink pointer. There we go.
Can you see that?
If it works now. No, it's still black.
What is wrong?
I don't know.
No.
I'm going to refresh, so we'll see if that makes any difference.
I don't think it will.
No, I don't think it will either. I reckon I have to switch my computer off and on again.
Yeah, well, just describe but just because I think those red lines could have been a bit distracting about the lines you were talking about. So as long as you talk about the line going down the hoof wall.
All right. Okay. Oh God, it's all going bloody weird now. It's going weird now. I've changed my pointer. All I can see is a big, massive purple pointer on my screen.
We can't see that.
Well, I can. Okay. Blow up.
We'll have to make do with the little pointer. That's okay.
Yeah, we'll make
it. Right, it's literally slowed my computer down, so I'm going to have to. God, this is so painful this evening. I'm so sorry, everyone. Accessibility. I'm going to go back to because it slowed my computer right down for some weird reason. Display. Talk amongst yourselves. Go back down to that. Right. Okay. Right. So ignore the red lines. The line I'm talking about is this black line here. Here's the outside of the hoof wall. As you can see my little black pointer. And here's the dark line. That's what they call a gas line. It's basically something that's translucent. It's radiolucent. So it's not going to pick up. It's not going to look white because the x-rays aren't bouncing off it. So that's a gas line. And when you start to see, you shouldn't see that in a healthy foot, but when you start to see that, what you're starting to see is that you've got stretched lamina in there. And what they're looking for is they're looking for the distance from the dorsal face of the P3. They're looking at the distance from here to here and then from here to here. But what you're going to see in a minute, in fact, is that here to here was also more stretched than it should be. And then if we look up here, I've put in a line here from the extensor process, a line across to the outer hoof wall. I've put a 90-degree angle on there. And then I've put it straight up from the extensor process up through the coronary band up to the hairline. Now, what they normally do is they will measure what they call the founder distance from the hair to horn line, which is just about here. This is the coronary, the start of the coronary groove, the start of the coronary band. And the red lines are in the way a little bit, but I hope that you can see that they're, let me just, I'll bring them back in a minute. Can you see, guys, tell me if you can see this. Can you see that this looks paler? And you can see this coming up here, and then there's a line here. Can you see that?
Yeah.
You see that? That is the edge of the coronary groove. So in here are all the papillae. They live there, and they're making wall. And at the shoulder of this here is where all the lamellae are made. And this is where they've been torn, effectively. So if I go back to that. So if we put this measurement in here and we take another X-ray, we should be able to actually look at the difference. So then we go across and we look at the new X-rays. Now, first of all, you get the gasp from the, oh my God, look at the long toe. Then you start going, hang on a minute, what's going on here? If you look at the difference between the two X-rays, when I talk about a foot being more relaxed, look at the heel bulbs compared to here. So in this X-ray here, the heel bulbs and the digital cushion, that's all squished in here. It's not pleasant. And yet here, this is now starting to relax. And then if you look at the hoof wall that we have now allowed to get down to the ground so that it gives optimum feedback, no matter whether there's a dog leg in there or not, what you now see is that gas line that we saw over here in the original image is now growing out. That's where it stopped. That's when we started making changes, because that's the reflection. It's like, what did you say, Bethan? It's like looking at history, didn't you say?
Yeah, it's like looking at, it's like two hoof capsules. It's like a time capsule of a hoof capsule.
Like a time capsule.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're looking at a time capsule. So this was his original foot, and that's that guy. And you will hear people say that once they start seeing these dark lines, that's it. There's no way, you can't turn these animals back, because they believe P3 is rotating through the capsule. That's not what's happening. It's the heels causing P3 to actually be in this position. So when we go back and
ask, sorry, is this gas line, would that be the same as a gas abscess, or is that something totally different?
So abscesses equally will make this, that will track up exactly in the same kind of thing. They will track up, and they will, on their way of destruction, they will cause this kind of gas bubble. It's just an area where the tissue has been damaged enough that you've got air gaps. It's as basic as that. Or liquid.
Yeah.
Air gaps or liquid, because that's not going to reflect. So that's going to be translucent. So yes, same as abscesses, right? So these two X-rays, if I put them next to each other right now, they're the same size, right? P2 is the same size, P3 is the same size, navicular bone. Okay, you know, horses move when you take X-rays, but you can pretty much line them up. Well, I've taken this exact marker here, and I've put it over onto the new one, and look at the difference. I hope you can see the difference. Look how tight. Not only do we have this new healing angle coming in, but look how tight it is. Look how much extra the other X-ray had. And that was at the top when that was at its tightest. And already here, by leaving that long toe in play, has done absolutely the reverse of what they all say the reason for chopping the long toe off. The long toe has to come off because it has lever forces which will separate the lamina. And we have been saying for years that doesn't happen because these animals recover and they get sounder and they get a healing angle. And this, my friends, proves it. This is monumental.
Can I say that the vet did actually make a comment about that? He said, I'm not going to say, he was like, lever forces, but he said, you know, and I said, well, Mr. Vet, if lever forces were in play, I said, this new connective growth would not stay connected. And I showed him previous pictures of Smokey and Cracker and the others, and he was like, yeah. It was kind of a light bulb moment for him. I said, lever forces were acting upon this hoof. That connected growth would not stay connected all the way down. And he said, oh, yeah. So, yeah, that was just my 2 pennies worth on that.
Yeah, and not only that, Bethan, it's better connected. So not only have we got a long toe that everybody's saying is going to tear lamina, it's even tighter than it was when they were taking the toe off.
Yeah, it's people talk about that it happens on a molecular level, like a cellular level, and we can't see it. Well, it may be so, but the horse is still improving and
no. What you're happening? No, because if you it happens on a molecular level, but this is what you see. The gas bubble. This is what you see when you start to see it on a molecular level, right? You start to see, well, you're not seeing it on a molecular level, but you can see that's what's happening to the tissues. We haven't got any of that happening up here. And this is tighter. There is no way on earth that would, even if they say, oh, it's a molecular level, then why would it not be the same or worse than that?
Yeah. That's what I take, what I see in front of me, and I go with what the horse is showing me, and that's what I go with, and it's not failed me. So
no. And here, just at this point, which you probably can't see, here is the shoulder of the groove, the coronary groove, and that's coming in, and that is how tight he's going to be as he comes down. It won't be perfect until he gets his true hoof wall down onto the ground of the new growth. Then the foot will be in a better position. But if we take it and we look over here, which I think is the If we then look here, we can see, is that big enough? Can you see that?
Yeah, that's good.
Ooh. There you go. That's the change for Wex. He was walking around on feet like this, and now he's walking around on feet like that. And even look at the angle of P2 and P1, the short pastern and the long pastern. Look how he can relax back. Do you see? He was stood and he could not relax back further than that in that shoe with that heel. You look at that and he's way back. So, I mean, if I just flick it between, it's monumental. For him, that's huge. And if we look down here at the tip of P3, you can see there's a teeny bit of remodeling. But again, it could be because he's also got a crenna, because you'll see that double tip. But you can't see it there. What's the point of taking a neck? Because you know why? Because they don't look for osteonecrosis, Bethan.
No, they don't. It's not on the radar, is it? That they're looking at that angle of P3 rather than the actual health of P3.
Yeah. So we've got that, right? before we go and look at something else, let's go down and look at the right fore. So again, here we are in this situation. We have this gas bubble here, this big gas air strip, and I've marked it up from the very tip of the extensive process across the coronary groove there. And here we are again, and it's even better because obviously he's in the and I think I need to explain this to you. So they talk about founder distance, which is measuring from the hard horn to hairline to the top of the extensive process, right? And the longer that, when they measure, they X-ray, then the X-ray, then the X-ray, and if they see that distance increasing, they call it a sinker.
Mm.
And it's always made me go, because what it is when you take that bone and you articulate it that way, right? Because that's what's happening as you raise the heels. Extensive process is going to move. It doesn't just go a lot across, it moves down and around. Therefore, your founder distance is going to move. That's not a sinker, right? So he's now put P3 in a better position, or you know, the trimming and the rehab has. And now this distance here, over here, is shorter. So you would say, well, if I was comparing the two, this one would be the sinker. But they would never have looked at it like that. It hasn't sunk, it's just that P3's been put back in a better position. It's that extensive process. So that, again, is something that I find so interesting. So this is the foot that's off the block. Can you see? So we see this almost ground parallel palmar angle, which he wouldn't quite be in, which we're going to look at again in a moment. And here was where he broke out. Obviously, it was slightly up here, and it's growing forward, but that's where he broke out. And I mean, remember that.
Can we talk about that? Can we talk about that, Lindsay? Because I feel like it's something that's really not discussed enough. Because, you know, as you know, I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but I had someone in an authoritative, well, someone who thought they were in an authoritative position tell me that horses cannot come back from that kind of injury, that kind of damage to the soul. And a lot of people are of that belief that you cannot, you know, put that P3 back in the hoof capsule. Obviously, we're not putting it back. The hoof capsule, you know, regrows around it. But I really don't think enough is spoken about, you know, blood and penetration and soul breakdown. I think a lot of people hear the word penetration or bleeding and it's just like it's game over, it's curtains. And for me, he was a horse that this is the first for us here at Gawsworth Track Livery. And I'm not gonna lie, without you, Lindsay, you know, talking me through it, I don't know how we'd have done it. Obviously, I've got Jan, and Jan's dealt with this kind of stuff before, but it would, you know, it would have been really, really tricky and difficult. But you were like, it's fine, Bethan, don't worry, it will be okay, we'll get through this, he will recover, and this is what you do. And it was a terribly frightening time. And it's not that I don't want to downplay it, but I feel like more should be, it should be spoken about more. I think we all talk about rotation and separation and the toe, and I feel like this just isn't. I feel like it's the taboo. No one wants to talk about it.
No, and had he stayed in a positive position, putting pressure on that circumflex artery, putting pressure on that plexus that was around the whole of the bottom of that distal edge of P3, he wouldn't have recovered.
No. And right? This is what I said to this person. I said, if we weren't getting things right, that hole, that breakdown of that sole would never have healed up, because that pressure would have continued to push down, down, down. But it is healing. It is 95% healed up. It's a very surface kind of layer that's just there still, but it's healing from inside out.
Yeah,
but this
exactly
person
that.
was having none of it. She was having none of it.
Well, they just don't know. They don't know. But this I'm afraid shows it precisely. So here was where, when this was up near the tip of P3, okay, so it grows forward, obviously, because the tubules are growing in that direction, which I think you can probably see in the striations of it. So when this was up here, this was further up here, and P3 was in a much more positive position, which we can sort of see that slight little bit of remodeling here. So P3 was in a much more positive position, and that remodeling can happen quite quickly. Again, I think he still has a Krenner, although on this one it's not so clear that he's got a double tip. So this was broken down up here, and I said to you, didn't I, it happens in the front of P3. That's what you will see breaking down, is slightly in the front, not right below it, but slightly in the front of it because of the way the tubules grow and the horn. Now he's back in the right position. You can see this translucent halo around it. This is just starting to look better around the tip of P3. And that shows you that that's that sub-lamellar or solar dermis that's repairing, which means that all the blood vessels around here are repairing now, which means that this sole that you have just in between the tip and the old damage is repaired.
Yeah.
This is now good sole in here, and this, where you see all this breakout, this is coming to the surface. This is like when you have a bruise and people say, oh, I've been somewhere and I've stepped on something, the horse has stepped on something, and yesterday and today I've got a bruise. It's impossible.
No,
because that happens when there's bleeding from the dermis into the horn, because the horn it's not vascular. So it bleeds into that, and that, just like our thumbnail or fingernail, you bash it, it grows down, same thing. It's growing down. So this is where he penetrated, and it's all growing out. And in a minute, that'll be gone. And thank God we've got this X-ray, actually, Bethan, because if we had taken this X-ray when he was recovered, we'd not have seen that.
No.
That's really important.
It's so important that we see these things. But again, I'm really hoping by me sharing this and my vet seeing this, that when maybe another vet practice see this, they don't just go, oh, no, pull the plug, can't do it. That they maybe think, do you know what? Because this is showing that there's a future. This is showing that there's healing, that we can come back from this. So, yeah, it's very important.
And if we go over to this X-ray, which I've rotated slightly to get him to get the balance correct, because he is slightly off the end, which has made him slightly more ground parallel. This would be more normal. What you see is, hold on, let me go. Going back to what foot he had. Watch P1 and P2. Look at that. Doesn't that look beautiful? I mean, I just love it.
It's so good. So good.
And focus on this bit up here, right, where I said about the extensor process. Do you remember this bit up here I talked about just a minute ago? Look at what's your eyes. Look at the distance between the extensor process and through the coronary groove to the outer hoof wall. Watch that. Just keep your eyeballs on that. Let me blow it up. Let me blow it up. Watch this area here, guys. This is the area I want you to look at.
Oh, look at that. It's like it sucks itself in. It's like put a corset on it. Pulls itself together.
So they're obsessed about the toe, but we should be obsessing about this bit up here.
It's such old news. The toe is such old news. It's what happened back then. It's so frustrating.
So here, I've got a question for everybody. What's this down here? What's this mark here? You know this, Bethan, because I've told you. But what's this mark here? Many of these are often, as you brought it up earlier, thought of as fluid-filled spaces, so abscesses. But what is that, guys? what do you see that? And if we look at, if we look at the left 4, you can see it's there too on the left 4, exactly the same position. What is that? What is that? Let's go back, see if everybody knows. Let's have a look. While we're waiting for people, because there's a bit of a lag, let's have a look. Melanie says, I'm a radiographer and that joint space is so much clearer. Thank you, Melanie. Well, bloody hell, hope the toe choppers watch this. Bloody fantastic having those x-rays. Well done. Alison, these x-rays are just incredible and undeniable as to what is going on by HM management. Bravo. Thank you, my lovely. This is so fascinating, says Alicia. This is so fascinating. Yes, I forgot to breathe.
Please breathe, Pia.
Angie says, Lindsay, try looking around Canva. You might be able to get a pointer there. I might. You might be right. Oh, what's Melanie say? This is so helpful. I now have some awareness of what to look for as force having x-rays. Yeah. Take that. Boom. Shakalaka drop. This look at that. They cover my face when I think I'm so. This x-ray overlaying method of comparison is just superb. Thank you. And I get them. Obviously, there's going to be a teeny bit of disparity, but not a lot. I love it. Alison says solar penetration is considered unrecoverable by vets. However, the bestie part of 20 years ago, German vet Dr. Hildestrasser showed otherwise and was vilified for showing so. I know. Yeah. I remember.
She was.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah. Vivian, where's Vivian gone? Where are you? Vivian is a vet in Germany. Hello, everyone. I'm so late. We'll catch up later. I'm so happy for Wex. You did a great job and are an inspiration, Bethan Thornicroft. Gavin's here. Absolutely amazing job for Wex and the care he's been under and the x-rays that are such good evidence of the HM remedial process. Awesome. Tula says, if I see a red bruise on a cell, how old would that damage be? As thick as your soul. As long as it took for the soul to grow down. But it's not now. It's ages ago. Yeah. Ages ago. Bethan, you should be so proud. Right, now then, here we go. So Melanie says growth line. Janice says central sulcus. Charlotte says bar edge. No idea. Amazing, guys. Well done, says Vicky. Angela says bar. Carol's just like, just wow. Whatever. Just wow. So let's go have a look what it is, right? It is, in fact, Melanie was right. It's actually a growth ring. It's the change. It's the change. There you go. It's the ring. That's the other end of it. It's just the end of the ring. But
it's so cool.
But the reason I point it out is because I've seen so many x-rays that show the actual the ring, right? I think I showed this in another live when we were looking at a DP and you could see this like big edge and the vets were like, oh my God, something awful's happening to this lady and we've got to get inside the foot and find out. And when she sent it to me, I went, it's just the edge of the hoof wall. And then I got another x-ray and I showed it her, the previous one, and she went, oh my God, it's moved. And I went, yes, because it's growing down. But that's what it is. So if we carried on x-raying it, we'd just see that move along. Yeah, so that's what that is. Yeah. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that.
Fantastic.
I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah. It's great, isn't it? I am so excited. I'm so excited because rarely do we get the opportunity to share this. Thank you, Bethan, so much for allowing us to share it. It's been great. She needs her.
Oh.
Yeah, where's me clacker?
I just can't get over it. I'm so proud, and he's going to come through now. He's on his way. Remember, you said to me, Bethan asked me an interesting question this afternoon. And she said, now we can see all that good things that are happening. Why does he still have some discomfort? And I said to you, didn't I? Because that is on the molecular level. We've got all of that stretched lamina, all of that damaged lamina. That's got to grow out. Meanwhile, the new stuff has got to grow in. It's got to repair. And not a single scientist in the entire world, Bethan, not one has ever known how that process happened, because they can't, because they'd have to kill the horse to go in and have a look. So nobody knows. They don't know what happens to the dermal laminae. That's the laminae that stay put, that are on the face of the dorsal face of P3. Epidermal laminae, they're going to get reproduced, the new tighter ones. What's happening with these? Because these got stretched according to Pollock's, what he saw. So how do they repair? What happens? They shrink back? Do they regrow? Nobody knows. Yet we know they tighten up.
Can I say it's not until you remind people, remind me. So when I asked you today, I was like, why are we still, he's still showing signs of discomfort, and it's not until you get reminded that hoof isn't just a block of wood. Do you know what I mean? There's blood vessels in there, and there's tissue, and because us hoof people, that we basically deal with the hoof mostly on a surface level, and it's hard, chalky, dead bits of, it's like you're dealing with just the outside layers. It's very easy. Well, for me, I'm not speaking for everybody, but it can be very easy to forget the soft tissue structures, the vessels, and everything else that's going on within the capsule. And it's not until you take a step back, and like you said to me today, well, Bethan, there's all this stuff that's got to repair, and you're like, oh yeah, it's not just a block of wood. Just because everything look, and especially on an X-ray, you don't get to see all the soft tissue and the veins and all things like that. You just see this outer hoof wall and then the bone, and it's very easy to forget that there's living things going on within there, not too far away. So it's no surprise that there's still pain involved.
Yeah, but what we've got to really take a huge amount from is that what we've just shown tonight is something that will blow a hole in the equine world, because forever and a day they have been telling the world that you need to chop toes off because there are lever forces, that you need to chop toes off because the horse will not be able to walk, because he'll be in more pain. And what we've just shown you there is that's not true. It's not true. That leaving the toe
happen.
No. And something else that's very important about that ring I showed you, it's just a ring. It's a ring that is not going to diverge. The other rings are not going to diverge now, because the growth rates are in concert with each other.
Yeah.
So much stuff here to unveil. We're showing the world something nobody's ever seen. It's amazing.
Well, now I've got, I've already opened the door to the vets, and we're 99.9% sure, as long as nothing horrendous happens, that Wex will come through this. He is a kind of a gateway kind of horse.
She's mascot.
And now in the future, we will be able to open the doors maybe a little bit sooner to vets and get X-rays done, and they will go, no, she's all right, let her do it. We've seen this before. And the more information and documentation we can get out there and research, like you said, whether I like it or not, this is research, and it is a study. It will help us all in the future, and may help others, because I do know there's people that have contacted me and said, Bethan, I'm going to tag my vets in your posts about Wex and the X-rays that have been done, because they've got vets that are quite against it.
And how sad, and how sad, Bethan, they're so desperate, right? They go, here's evidence, please will you go look? And they don't want to go, they don't want to look, So many. But I'm just going to out somebody right now.
Oh,
Right, Emma Daly. I'm just going to out you right now. So she's probably like, oh God, what's Lindsay going to say? So Emma is an equine vet. Okay, she's retired, and Emma is thinking. I don't care. I'm going to tell the world, Emma. Emma's thinking about coming back to help out of retirement to help laminitis and help equines because she's following what we're doing. So everybody,
you've got to
support Emma.
Come
support
back,
Emma. Come on, Emma.
To.
Come back and
Please
help
do.
us.
And here's an open invitation for you to come to Gawsworth Track Livery and
She's
see
in the
what
States.
Well, okay. Give me a message. You know, I do try and put everything on Facebook. Please follow us.
Come on, Emma. Join us.
Anything you want to know, you know, yeah, please pull yourself out of retirement. This is your calling.
We need you. We need you, girl.
We do.
Dawn says, fantastic lives. Thank you, guys. Oh, says Charlotte. Heidi says, fantastic live. Thank you so much. Uta says, this was great. Karen Mackinson says, brilliant live, guys. Thank you. Thank you all, says Angela. Angie. Joe Kirk says, one of my favourite lives. Absolutely marvellous. So awesome, says Jill Kovac. Brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, Toya says, yeah, one of my favourites too. Thank you, says Therese. This was one of the best lives ever. Absolutely brilliant, says Mary Ann Wilson, and really appreciative Bethan's dedication, courage and enlightenment on today's live. Thank you so much, Team Phoenix Way. Thank you, said Vicky. Thanks, Vicky's listening to us, and it's like 6 o'clock in the morning in Australia. She said the best. Joe Kirk says some of us will have been inspired by this. Alison says the hoof and the horse are just awesome, and the powers of recovery given the right conditions are mind-blowing and just so humbling. It's just brilliant. Melanie said, would scarring cause discomfort? Yeah, right. But hopefully we don't know what happens to the laminite. We don't know because they've never studied it, because they can't.
Because the animal's still alive.
Because he's still alive. Because they kill him and then look inside and they can't kill him. Poppy says, this has been so fascinating. Thanks. Incredible, incredible work, guys. Probably been asked before, but is there a way to set up a charity or fund, etc., that we could donate to fund more X-rays? Oh, how sweet.
Oh, that's an idea. We might come back to you with that.
You never know. We may just come back to you on that one day. I don't know. Troy says this is exactly it. This has made me so excited. It's unarguable. Well done. This live needs to be shared and shared. To Alison, this one case just undermines all the traditional thinking that is so tightly hung up onto the hidden behind. Well done all. What are they always asking for?
X-rays,
evidence,
documentation, evidence, radiographs.
We have had so much evidence over the years. We have known a long time that this works, but I have to say, and we have not had X-rays done midway for very good reasons.
Very good reasons.
Because those very good reasons are loose horses.
Life and death. It's
life and death. They'll put them to sleep. In front of our very eyes, they will put them to sleep.
And that is the sad reality. Now, all I can say is, whoever prompted Wex to have these X-rays,
thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much. Because without this and some honest, forward-thinking veterinary treatment, this could not have been possible.
Absolutely.
Sandra, look, she's going, please, Emma. Caroline's going, woohoo, Emma Daly, fantastic, we need you. And look.
Yay! Because at the end of the day, unfortunately, and this is not gonna like to hear this, myself especially, I am a nobody. and
You're not.
and I've learned that these past few days. No, but in the eyes of the law,
And yes, no, so am I.
We are nobodies.
All of us. It's that
We
here.
are nobodies, and
Indeed.
you need a vet to sign this off, and that's the top and bottom of it. Especially if you do, if you're gonna rehab them in private and do your own thing, and that's you do you. But to get this stuff out there, like you guys have been rehabbing these horses, some of them
And
quite
the underground.
Yeah, underground, and it's been, and that's how and that's how you've been able to give me the courage, because I've been like, Lindsay, is this going to be all right? And you like almost laughed at me, like, Bethan, don't worry, it'll be fine, don't worry. And I'm like, oh my God, because there's nothing out there. There's none of it. Like you said, it's not out there. So, but to be out there, you've got to be able to have someone come a vet stick his neck on the line and say, yeah, I'm going to let you carry on. And that's the hard.
You and I were both. Well, you first, and then she came to me, didn't she? Because you passed her over to me. That lovely vet student that was studying. She was Danish, but she was studying in Latvia. Interesting. Anyway, she was a vet student, and she came to you, didn't she? And she said, we don't get taught about how this. I hate the word alternative, but we don't get taught about this alternative way of treating laminitis or track systems at university when we're learning to become vets. I really want to do this as my final year thesis. I want to study that. She was so keen, wasn't she? And she said, can you just point me in the direction of your vets so that I can have a vet mentor? and Bethan was like, I can't. I haven't got anybody that would sign off on this. No. And she just went, oh.
Yeah, it's hard.
It was really sad because she then couldn't do it. No. So see what that's doing? Do you see what that does? It shuts down progress.
Yeah, absolutely. But I feel, we're not out of the woods yet. No, this is literally just the first step. It is base camp, and there's going to be obstacles, and this is just one vet. This is one vet.
It's only one vet.
Yeah,
two with Emma.
Yes. And to be fair, the other vet that I spoke to, remember I telling you about, and he said that he'd had a light bulb moment. Yeah. That was another vet as well.
Adele's working with a vet in Sheffield, and he's having light bulb moments all over the place. He can't believe it. He's like, I have never been taught this stuff at school.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Absolutely. We just need to get these horses better and get them out there and show the world. And I think the future is very, very positive and very bright, and we've just got to keep the focus and bat away, almost ignore the negativity, because we're never going to change some people's minds, and they're going to be left by the wayside. We're going to be on the right side of history on this, and I'm so glad to be part of this. And there's going to be people that want to jump on the bandwagon at a later date. Well, sorry, sometimes it's too little too late. But
that we've there's been too much water under the bridge for us.
Absolutely.
Alison says, I agree with Alison, incidentally, is a consultant oncologist. Just thought I'd put that out there. Just chuck it in, Alison. And she says, I agree with suggestions of setting up a research fund, and off the back of that, write-ups with professional publication and presentations at professional conferences. Let's do it.
It's so easy, and I am all for this, and that is the future, and it's the aim, isn't it? But it only takes one person to get slightly annoyed.
It does. We are walking a fine tightrope.
I say this, it's a fine line between me wanting to show the world what we're doing, but then, there's 58,000 people on my page, and there's going to be some people on there that it's going to upset them, and it only takes a few people to get together and not like what we do, and then inevitably
we know that's happening as well, don't we? We know it's happening.
And inevitably, sometimes it's not even that they're bothered about even the horse; it's they don't like us as a person, as people. It's a personal attack. It's a personal attack, which is terrible.
Yeah. Anyway, what a great live. What an absolutely banging live. Thank you so much. So much, Bethan. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
It's all worth it, isn't it? It's all worth it. Well,
we're not
for
there
us,
yet,
no.
but today has been yesterday and today. I'm going to have a good night's sleep tonight. Because last night I went to bed, I was that giddy, I couldn't sleep. I was just like so buzzing.
Great.
Got
Well,
to take the good days. We got to take the good days.
if you haven't seen the video, go and see it. Go support Bethan. Go over there, support her, support her, support her. When you see those crappy comments, remind them.
Yeah.
Go look at that video. Go look at that video. All right, everyone. It's been great having you all with us this evening. We've gone on for 1 hour and 40 minutes. I do apologise, but it's been worth it, right? Hasn't this been worth it? This is groundbreaking stuff. It's pioneering stuff. Thank you, Bethan. You stay where you are, Bethan, because we're going to say goodbye to everybody first. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you. And sleep well, she says.
Oh, I will.
Gives me hope. You see, that's what we're here for. Poppy gives you hearts. Well done, guys. Well done. All right. See you soon, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.